What's up, you guys? I'm Demi Ramos. I'm here with Corbyn Besson.
Yeah, what up?
You may know him from the band Why Don't We?
I was in that band, yes.
But so much has happened since then.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a chat.
Cool.
What have you been up to lately? What's been going on?
So much stuff, like you just said. As of recent, a lot of just like finishing up new songs, a lot of writing, a lot of recording. Been doing choreography classes, so I've been in with a few like really dope dancers. And just like living life, watching TV shows.
You just put out a single.
I did, yeah.
Tied Up.
Yeah.
Talk about like that song, what it's about, how you wrote it.
Tied Up was the first song that I did with these two producers named Ten Rock and Hit Boy, both incredible talents. And it was the first song I did at their studio. It's called Chalice. It's off of Highland here in LA. And it was sort of like an experimental song at first because it's very different than the stuff that I dropped last year, if you've heard it, or if the viewers have heard it. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit more R&B leaning. It's a little bit more aggressive on the drums. There's like a lot of heavy 808s in there. And so it kind of started as an experiment because we were like, let's like push the boundary and let's see like where we can go. Let's get uncomfortable a little bit. And I remember we got to the studio that day and I've been listening to so much Justin Timberlake recently. He's the GOAT. And I remember we listened to My Love off the Future Sex Love Sounds album that day, and then also the song Summer Love, which I think was on that album, or maybe it was on Justified. And I just remember thinking like the synth work in those records is crazy, the drums are fire, and Justin's always had that like super soulful and smooth falsetto, which is something that I have as well. And so I was like, okay, I'm inspired by these records. Can we kind of reference these and see like if we can do like our version of these records without stealing from it or without like, you know, pulling it straight off the plate. But I just love the synth work and the drums. And so Hit Boy came in, played this drum loop, and it was super funky, and it had this like kind of weird 808 bass line going underneath it. And we were like, okay, this is kind of cool. Ten Rock started playing some synth chords over top, and then like pretty immediately we were like, oh, this is feeling really cool. The melodies kind of just flew out, and then the way we got the title was Ten Rock was singing some melodies, and he was just like, we get tied up. Mm-hmm. And we were like, oh, tied up sounds kind of like tied up. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, double knot it, we could get tied up. And from there, like, the song kind of just wrote itself.
Speaking of Justin, in my notes, you reminded me of Justin, but not just in like sound. I feel like the dancing, singing aspect that you do is super cool and not something you see a lot of today.
I know, it's kind of interesting.
You know what I mean? So where did you learn how to dance?
It's so funny that you asked that. I never really learned. I think I had something in me, I guess. My dad's from New Orleans, so like he's got music in his soul, and you know, there's a lot of jazz down there and a lot of like very movable music. And then the boy band helped. I mean, we were never great dancers. I'll never claim we were great dancers. We made do with what we had. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, I think I always had like a little bit of rhythm, I guess. Mm-hmm. I just needed some structure. So when we made the song, I was like, you can dance to this song. Like it's very thumpy, it's very rhythmic. And I also thought the same thing. I was like, there's nobody really dancing right now besides K-pop groups and K-pop idols, which are killing it. And I was like, I want to give it a try. And I've always had such a respect for the dance community, and just never really had like a reason to participate. And so this kind of felt like a way for me to almost like rebrand a little bit and like do something new that people hadn't seen me do before, especially because the song was so new for me, just the sound of it. So I dove in head first, and I linked up with Josh Smith, who's an incredible dancer. He's Chris Brown's choreographer. And then this choreographer named Max Pham, who dances for Timberlake on tour, ironically enough. And so just been doing like one-on-ones with them, and they choreographed the music video. And yeah, we just dove in head first. And I was like, doing that, I was like, okay, this might be an actual thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but they're two of the best, so I've been in good company.
That's super cool. I want to take it back to like the beginning
Okay.
of where you first fell in love with music.
Yeah.
Can you take us back to that moment, maybe when you were a little kid?
Like I said, my dad's from New Orleans, so I think music is in his soul. And my mom was a harpist, so she played the harp for like 40 years. She doesn't play anymore. I keep trying to get her to play again, but her harp is at my house. It's like a centerpiece kind of under my stairs, so I want to get it like refurbished. She used to play like Colors of the Wind, Pocahontas, and just like other beautiful songs. But I was really young when she was playing, so I don't remember a bunch of it. But I guess like the start, I'll give you like the long story short. My parents forced me into piano lessons when I was a little kid, like first grade. And then they got me my first guitar when I was like 12 or 13 years old, because I was playing a lot of Guitar Hero with my brother. And so they were like, maybe he could actually do this for real. And that was right about the time that like Justin Bieber was popping off. Mm-hmm. He had like My World and Believe, and that's like when I started to get onto the internet. And so I was like watching that unfold in real time. And I just remember being like, how do I do what this guy is doing? And just being so inspired and just like watching him just like make great music and play really big shows. And so I started singing covers of like Shawn Mendes and Ed Sheeran and Bieber on live streams. And then this is such a right place at the right time thing, and this is where I think the luck aspect of the music industry is like a very real thing, because so much of it is like that spark, you know. I was live and I had like, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 viewers or something, but the person under the musicians category in front of me had like 2,000 viewers or something like that, and I was in second place behind them. Mm-hmm. And so they got off their live stream and all 2,000 of those viewers came to my stream.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that was like the spark that lit the fire. And I had to put on when they all came in there. I was like, oh no, there's 2,000 people in here. I better sing my ass off. But it worked out. Got some followers on this platform called YouNow. Do you remember YouNow? Did you ever know about it? No. This is like pre-Twitch, pre-Musically, like anything. It was like one of the first live stream programs or platforms where you could like have a tip jar and people could like donate money to you and whatever. Awesome. Pretty ancient stuff now, but yeah, so started there, got a little bit of a following, and then eventually toured a little bit on like MagCon style tours. Mm-hmm. So like you have a bunch of internet kids from like Vine and some musicians come together and do skits, perform songs, whatever, and that's how I met Jack, Zach, and Jonah from the group.
Wow.
So we all knew each other, and then Jack ended up calling me one day and was basically like, hey, I know a guy who knows a guy that's trying to start an American boy band, like would you be interested? And I was, at the time I was like, I don't know if I want to be in a band. I kind of want to do this thing myself. If I had followed that path, it would have been the worst mistake of my life. So I'm very glad we followed through. Came to LA in 2016. Kind of like auditioned for the band, or auditioned the band for one of my current managers, and a couple other guys, and they liked us. And then that was like June of 2016, and then end of September 2016 we came to LA to like officially start the band. And at that time I did not know I was moving to LA, but I just never ended up going back home. So that was like the start of everything.
And at the time you were 17, right?
I was, yeah. When I was live streaming I was like 15 and 16, maybe 16 and 17.
What was that like for you, being 17 but also becoming a pop star?
It was crazy. I mean, I can't even undersell it. It was really crazy. At the time, I'm so clumsy. I'm gonna kick this thing over by the end of this interview.
Get edited out some of this.
All right. It was crazy. I mean, at that time, the internet was like kind of an escape for me. I was kind of like a I was a huge nerd in high school, and I had like 3 friends, and no one else that I really knew was doing music, so I was like very much kind of alone in that. And so the internet was like a place for me to go where like I felt accepted, and you know, people were for the most part pretty nice. And so joining the boy band and like grouping up with guys that were also doing the same thing I was doing, and like going through the same ups and downs that I was going through, was incredible. And then just like seeing all the success we had happen so quickly was super surreal. It was like every day was like a pinch me moment where it was like, this is really happening, like this is crazy. And so yeah, I mean, the best memories of my life so far are over from 17 to 22.
What was your favorite memory with the band?
Oh, there's so many. There's some I can't talk about on camera for sure. I don't think I could pinpoint like a specific memory, but I think the overall experience of doing what we did at that level together, like bonded as brothers, it was like every day was a memory, you know. If I had to pick one, I would say probably like playing Radio City Music Hall, or like, you know, playing some big show somewhere, or like causing a ruckus overseas, like just like young and reckless stuff.
Who was your best friend in the band?
Ooh, this is a question. I was pretty tight with everybody. For a while, me and Jack were really close. I was also close with Daniel, Jonah, and Zach. We like went through like, I guess, phases where like sometimes you're like standing next to a certain member on stage more, or in the meet and greet more, so like you just end up having more conversations, or like sometimes another guy's bunk is right underneath yours, so you're like, you know, messing with each other. It was like, what was cool is there was no like split parties really. It was like we were all just really tight, and I think that's like a big reason that it worked, honestly, because I've heard some horror stories about groups over time. Yeah.
Moving on to like the next chapter for you, how did that feel, going from group to solo artist?
Crazy. At first, super weird, because I think everything that I knew in the music industry was group. So at first I felt a little lost, and was kind of just like, okay, who am I outside of this? And like, who do I want to be outside of this? Because in the group you play a certain role and you're like a piece of something bigger. So I guess like the weight of having to be the whole thing at first was pretty daunting. But I just pretty quickly fell back in love with music in a different way than I loved music in the group. And I think that's just because it became like more personal, and like I had a lot more of a say in like what was gonna come out, or like what words I wanted to write in the song. So I think pretty quickly it became like, oh, I don't have to like try to be anything. Like, this is just who I am. This is what I do. I'm just doing it myself now. And yeah, fell in love with music all over again in a very different, new, and like enlightening way, actually.
I want to talk about your creative process.
Yeah.
So when you go into the studio, how are you writing a song?
It's
where's it coming from?
You ask good questions. I like these questions. It's like, you do this. It kind of varies. I mean, a lot of it is based on like a spark of inspiration. But I think like my general process is like, and I've like kind of learned this from other songwriters along the way and whatnot, but producer starts a beat or like is playing chords on the guitar or the piano, whatever. I typically like to write to drums so that I can like feel the energy and find the pocket and the cadence of where the melody should live. So it's usually like chords, guitar, piano, a drum loop, and then honestly we just whip out like a cheap mic most of the time that's just plugged straight in, nothing fancy. Yeah, and we just cut. Ten Rock calls it scanning. We scan, and so I don't know if anybody else calls it that. I just heard him say it, so now I say it. But it's essentially you just kind of mumble a bunch of random words or sounds or whatever, but to melody. So you just sing melodies, no words. If words come out, amazing. If no words come out, it's okay, you can write them later. But I find that melody transcends language. So I think there's something really special about a great melody. So for me, that always comes first. You find the melody, and if it sticks, you'll write great lyrics to it. But if you think about like Spanish, like, do you know Spanish?
A little bit.
Okay, I know a little bit of Spanish too,
Yeah.
just barely. But it's like if you're listening to a song in Spanish, right? You might not know what it's saying, but you'll know the melody, and you'll feel the emotion from the melody that's being sung. So I think melody is super important. So we start there, write words. If the words are trash, you rewrite them. If the melodies are trash and you're not feeling them after a couple of days, you go back and you rewrite them. But it's super fluid, and it's like, I like to try to keep it low pressure because I think if you put too much pressure on it, that's where you lose the feeling and you lose like what makes it magical in the first place. It can be tough though, because you want to write great songs, but
What's
that's kind of how
been
it goes.
your biggest source of like inspiration, or what are you writing about like currently in the studio these
A
days?
bunch of stuff, a lot of love songs. I think it's such a cliche answer, but just like life in general. I take a lot of inspiration from just like listening to stuff that's coming out now, just to like kind of get a sense of where like the pop R&B like landscape is musically, but also like throwing it back to the greats and like listening to old Justin Timberlake and Michael Jackson. I listen to a bunch of SZA. I love her to death. She's like the best. Even like old Post Malone. But just like listening to a lot of music and thinking about the choices that these artists made when they were writing it and like why they did certain things, and kind of like trying to understand their thought process, and then kind of pulling some of that to be like, okay, next time I write, maybe I can think about this chorus or writing a chorus like this next time. Or, you know, it's a lot of like pattern recognition, weirdly enough, like what notes are being chosen and why. It's like kind of mathy in a weird way.
Like a puzzle?
It is like a puzzle. It's very much like a puzzle. Writing lyrics is like a puzzle. It's like when you're trying to get that one word that rhymes, but there's no word that rhymes. It's like, that makes sense. It's like rearranging all the pieces and like trying to get your thought across. But it's really fun. I mean, like when you get down to the wire and you're like trying to get that last piece out, it's like the celebration once you get the right line is like, oh yes, we made it.
That's cool.
This sounds cool. Yeah.
Speaking of life, what does a day in the life of Corbyn look like from start to finish?
Right now I have like no routine. It's crazy. I'm
Artist life?
Yeah, it's you've probably heard that so many times. I wake up, go to the gym. I usually skip breakfast, which is so bad. Do you eat breakfast?
I have to, or I get a little faint,
Yeah, I feel that, but I like usually choose to power through for some reason. So I usually skip breakfast. I'll get better at that. My trainer would kill me if he heard me say that. And then what's funny about sessions in LA is like the music industry starts kind of late. So like we'll usually start writing a song at like anywhere between like 1 and 4 p.m., right? And so like between my gym in the morning and going to the studio, I'm like either filming some content, or if I have nothing else to do, I'll play like a quick video game or something just to pass some time.
Are you a gamer?
And yeah, too much.
What kind of games are you talking?
Oh no. My main game, this is the nerdiest thing I'm going to say on this podcast. My main game is a game called League of Legends, if you've heard of it. No? Okay, thank God. It's like I don't even know how to describe the game. but it's super, I won't even go into it, but it's super nerdy. I've been playing it for like 10 years. It's just like a part of my soul now. I play some Fortnite. You play Fortnite? Are you a gamer?
No.
Okay. Is your boyfriend a gamer?
Yeah.
Okay. He might know about League of Legends. I used to play Call of Duty, but then people got way too good, and
it just killed everyone.
Yeah. So now I don't get on anymore because like a 13-year-old kid will like turn the corner and blast me in the face with a shotgun.
He would just like win, and he'd be like the only 11-year-old.
Yeah, it's good for him. So yeah, I mostly play like League of Legends. So nerdy, but it's so fun, and I know some of y'all watching this play it too. So yeah, and then go to the studio. Maybe order some food, and then just see where the road takes us.
Speaking of road, you posted on your story last night, I think it was, that someone was not a fan of driving, was it a sports car?
Yeah, it's my girlfriend, yeah. She hates driving my car.
What is it with boys and sports cars?
I don't know, they're just loud and they look cool and they're flashy, and I love them for all of those reasons. I also am kind of like a thrill seeker, so and my dad was into cars growing up, so I think I kind of naturally just like took that from him. I don't know, there's something about just like stepping your foot down on the gas and hearing like a pop, 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 pop. I don't know, it's like such a guy thing, but
that's pretty cool.
It's fun, yeah. I love blasting by people and just like revving the engine so they think I'm an asshole. But little do they know, maybe I am.
Just real quick from the audience question, car question.
Yeah.
Do you like the old muscle cars more, or do you like the newer kind of foreign Japanese tuner, like Fast and Furious kind of stuff?
I'm a Fast and Furious guy. I do have an appreciation for old muscle cars because like a lot of car culture is derived from like what was, and it's the same with music. But
like a Civic R-Type would be sick.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen some crazy souped up ones around here, and
okay, I'm out of it. I'm good.
I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she hates driving it because I lowered it, so it's like it's super bumpy, and it's like it's really low to the ground. So I have to like diagonal every time there's like a dip in the road so that my bumper doesn't come off, and so it's like. But I live for that. Like I love like going up to a thing and be like, I got a diagonal because my car is really low. You know, I don't know. It's but she doesn't like driving it. But I made her drive it last night because we were at this dance event out here called the Carnival, which I don't know if you've heard of it, but
no.
I just heard about it. My choreographer invited me. It's like a show where a bunch of dancers and choreographers come, and they like. They each get like 5 minutes to like do their choreography routine. Oh, wow. And so it's just like, I don't know, 30 choreographers all come and they do a 5-minute presentation, and the audience is all dancers, and it's like just like a central hub for dancers to go and like enjoy dance. Cool. And they've been doing it for like 25 years.
Is that what you do for fun?
And that was my first one, but I will be going back, yeah, because my choreographer, he had a piece that he did which was super sick. And so he invited me out to come see it. But I had one too many drinks. And so I made my girlfriend drive my car. And I thought it was like a fun opportunity to put her in the driver's seat because I like when she drives it. I think it's funny.
I wanted to talk about your outfit because the first thing that I noticed was like, wow, you can dress.
Thank you.
But
I tried really hard today for this, so thank you.
Tell us about your choice of outfit today.
Yeah, so I got to shout out Emmy Studios because they just sent me this stuff. They sent me this crew neck and they sent me these pants yesterday. And I actually wore this, I'm not even gonna lie, I wore this outfit to my bandmate Jack's release party last night, and my manager called me this morning and was like, you looked really good last night. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna run this outfit back.
We all do.
So yeah, I don't know. This is actually kind of a new thing for me. I've never really rocked the crew neck with the collared shirt, but I see it on Pinterest all the time. And I was like, you know what, we're gonna try it. I'm a big jewelry guy. I'm like a ferret. Anything that's shiny, like, I'll grab it, give it to me. So I never leave my house without necklaces on. I don't know, it's a weird thing. My fans call me out for it sometimes.
What do they say?
They're just like, take your necklaces off, bro. Like, you don't need to. And I'm like, I need them. They're like, you sleep in them? I'm like, yeah, I do. So
That's cool. It's pop star behavior.
yeah,
You know
I
what I
guess. Yeah. It's like, it's shiny and flashy. I don't know. I feel like it's like a part of me now, especially after the boy band days.
Yeah. Well, when you look at your your whole journey, you look back and even what you have going forward, what would you tell your younger self, like your 17-year-old self that just like came into the music industry as a whole?
That's such a good question. I think, for one, I would just say, just keep going. There were a lot of times throughout the years, and I'm sure a bunch of artists have felt this, and you've probably heard it too, but there were a bunch of times where it was like, is this for me? Like, should I keep doing this? Like, where's the light at the end of the tunnel? And so I think my first piece of advice would be, yeah, just keep going, but also like stay true to yourself, and as hard as that is, but also just like take it day by day and like live in the moment. It's like all like kind of cliche things to say, but I feel like they're super real, and that's why they're cliche. But yeah, just power through and just like love music and stay true. That's the best advice that I could give, actually.
Stay true. That sounds like a future album title. Stay true.
Yeah, or like an arm tattoo.
Well, what?
Stay True actually is kind of a fire album title. If I name my album that, just know.
You said it. I did not say it.
Just know. I'll cut you a piece. And you can.
Well, what do we have? I'm pretty sure the fans want, and like they're waiting for the project. So
yeah.
What is in the works right now? What can we look forward to?
A lot. So much stuff is in the works right now. A lot of stuff is almost finished. I think this year I'm probably just going to drop singles, maybe an EP at the end of the year. I'm figuring it out. But Tied Up was kind of a rebrand for me, so I'm just kind of feeling out the landscape and finishing records that I love and kind of trying to piece it all together in a way that feels cohesive and like me and elevated and cool, and I'm still honing in on the choreography, so I need like a few more classes to like really get it there, you know. I just dropped a record with two of my friends called Two Friends. They're a DJ duo. It's a song called No One Else. Summer pop dance banger. If you haven't heard it yet, go check it out. It cranks. So that's kind of like another entry into the dance world, which I love dance music. And they're so fire, they're so funny. They had me out at, well, actually I'll tell you a short story about this, about the Two Friends record. They DM'd me one day and they were like, hey, we have this song, we think you'd sound great on it. And I was like, okay, cool, this is a dope track. It was like a dance kind of house track. And so I cut the vocals for it and I sent it back to them and they loved it. And then I didn't hear from them for like 6 months. And I was like, okay, maybe they're like not using the song, like that happens, you know, like songs die on hard drives all the time. It's very sad, actually. And then one day, out of the blue, they texted me and they were like, hey, not sure what you've heard, but here's an updated version of the song, and also, do you want to come perform it at our show at Red Rocks?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, it's like a Tuesday afternoon. Like, I was not prepared for this. The version of the song they sent is the version that's out now. And it was way beefed up from the original version. So when I heard it, I was like, oh, okay, you guys have been working on this thing. And then a couple weeks later, they had me out at Red Rocks. We played the song, and it went off. The Red Rocks show was amazing.
What does it feel like to play at Red Rocks?
Insane. I mean, that was my first time performing in like 3 years, maybe even 4 years. So I was really nervous to like step back out on the stage in front of 10,000 people for the first time in years. But it was okay, because I was up there, the song's like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so it was really just like 2 minutes of glory. But I went up there, I was pretty nervous up until like 10 minutes before the performance, and then like 10 minutes before, I was like, actually, like, this is gonna be fine. Walked out there, it was pouring rain, everyone's dancing. They're shooting flames behind me. Like it was so sick. And so I'm very thankful to them for like having me out to do that, because that was insane. And then they had me out in Seattle. They played, they have this festival called Big Booty Land. And
wow.
if you guys know about it, it's like, they've been dropping these like mixes for years called the Big Booty Mixes. And it has nothing to do with like your behind either. They said it's like bootleg mixes. And so it was like Big Booty. Yeah, anyway. I was talking to him about it recently because I was curious. I was like, was the pun intended or was it not intended? And they had me out at their festival at WAMU Theater in Seattle, which was like 9,500 people or something like that, but just like straight
Nice.
pit, which was super different than Red Rocks, because Red Rocks is like straight up. It's like very steep. And it looks packed, and then you've got like the rocks, which are somehow there naturally, and it's like God like placed them there himself, because it's like way too beautiful. And both shows were incredible, but those have been my only 2 times performing live in the last few years, and they've been really big shows. And shout out to 2 friends for having me, because I would not have had that opportunity without them. So yeah, and the song cranks live. I was like, because it wasn't out when we performed, so I was like, are people gonna know it? Some people knew it, but people were dancing, and it was really fun. And I almost jumped into one of the pyro cannons.
Oh, wow.
They told me they were gonna launch a lot of fire during my set, but I didn't know like what they meant by that. And so there's a video on social media where you can see me like cross kind of over one of the pyro cannons, and it shot up like I was like this far away from it, and it was like huge plume of fire, and I was like almost singed my eyebrows off. And after the performance, the tour manager comes over to me. He's like, "You really scared us there, man." And I was like, "It's my bad. I didn't mean to. I didn't know." I'm like, "I'm glad we're all safe." So at the WAMU Theater show, this was at Red Rocks. At the WAMU Theater show, they came up to me before and they were like, "Stay up front. We're gonna be launching a lot of fire behind you. Stay in this general area." And I was like, fine, I guess I'll stay here. And we made it all safe.
So you have a new song.
Yeah.
In Summer.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about Summer?
Yeah. Summer is one of my favorite songs I've ever recorded. And it's just a super fun song. It's pop with R&B flavor and classic like trap hip hoppy drums, but like cool chords underneath. And I recorded this song in like August of last year, but have just been working on setting it up and getting features, which Jeremih is on the record. He's one of the most legendary R&B artists in the last, I don't know what, 10 years, 20 years-ish. You know, he told me the other day, when we were recording his vocals, I like asked him about his journey in music, and I was like, you know, like, what was your first single that like, or like, when did you know that like music was for you? And he was like, well, I don't remember exactly how he said it, but he's like, Birthday Sex was his first song he ever dropped. And I was like, well, that's a hell of a first song to drop. And he told me it was the 3rd song he ever wrote, was Birthday Sex. And I was like,
Wow.
You were born for this, bro. You were literally born for this. Never expected to have him on this record, but the idea came up, and he really loved the song, and he wanted to record it, and I was like, of course, please record the song. And so he did the 2nd verse and the 2nd pre-chorus, and then some ad-libs over the last chorus. And he sounds incredible. His tone is so fire. It's so recognizable, and yeah, so dropping this summer just felt like the right thing to do. Drop a summer song in the summer and let it ride. So yeah, we'll see. I'm excited about it. It's a really good song. I'm biased, but it's a really good song.
Hell yeah. Well, we can't wait for the projects to come as well on your new solo journey.
Yeah, thanks.
And we can't wait to see what you do next.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
This was Corbyn.
Hey, and Demi.